Hello, teacups, and welcome to another episode of Quick Tea. This is Twanna Y'vette for the Twanna Y'vette Show, and I ran across a couple of articles that I thought you guys would be interested in. Let me check my footage here so I can get you on the right article. We've got Bodycam captures Los Angeles police shooting black father in the back after admitting he was unarmed. Let's get into this story. Bodycam footage captures moments leading up to LA police shooting unarmed man. Los Angeles police shot a black man 3 times in the back moments after officers stated he was unarmed, and then claimed in the wake of the shooting that a metal car part he was carrying was a non-functioning firearm. Okay, that's not a firearm at all, but let's continue. A body camera footage released this week shows Jermaine Petit, 39, being approached by LAPD officers responding to a 911 call on 18th of July on the corner of Bronson Avenue and Martin Luther King Boulevard in Lamart Park, after a witness said they had seen a man brandishing a black semi-automatic weapon, which obviously is not true. Footage shows several officers converge on Mr. Petit as he walked down the street, and one can be heard saying, "It's not a gun, bro." The officers continue to follow Mr. Petit, who police says was a military veteran with a story of mental illness, and order him to take his hands out of his pocket. He started to run from the officers when they opened fire, hitting him with 3 shots into his back. Moving right along, the View Pictures in app said it saved up to 80% of the data. And LA police officers can be heard saying, "That's not a gun, bro," and bodywork footage before shooting Jermaine Petit on the 18th of July. As he lies critically injured, face down on the ground, the officers continue to shout at him not to move and aim their weapons at him. "We're going to have to roll him over and handcuff him. Someone needs to secure the gun," an officer says on the footage. After the shooting, Mr. Petit was taken to the hospital, where he remained in critical condition for several days. His daughter, Ashley Petit, said in a GoFundMe post at the news conference hours after the shooting, an LAPD spokesman said Mr. Petit had been carrying a weapon, according to the Los Angeles Times. It later retracted the statement and said in a press release he had been carrying a black metal latch actuator. The release included a transcript of the 911 call at a town hall meeting on July 28th. An LAPD chief said the car part resembled a non-functioning firearm, according to a clip posted to the police LA Twitter account. Okay, so you can see a picture of that here in the slideshow. The officers involved in the shooting have been identified as Sergeant Brett Hayhoe and Officer Daryl Glover Jr. Mr. Glover is the son of Los Angeles Police Protective League Vice President Jaretta Sandoz, a police union that defends officers in the LAPD division he is assigned to. LA.com reported. An LAPD Captain Kelly Muniz said in the video released on Thursday that the investigation into the officer-involved shooting was still in the preliminary stage and could take up to a year to complete. Ms. Muniz said Mr. Petit was arrested for 2 outstanding felony warrants of obstructing an officer and assault with a deadly weapon on an officer, but the LAPD had recommended charge Mr. Petit with 2 counts of brandishing a replica firearm, Ms. Muniz said. So a spokesperson for the Los Angeles City Attorney, Mike Fewer, told the Daily Beast, said the case was still under review. The LAPD did not immediately respond to a series of questions about the incident from the Independent. This is really wild. I'm really interested to knowing what you guys have to say about this. This is crazy. When these stories come across, there's so many, like, you guys have no idea. There are so many stories like this that come across my desk, come across my screen all day and all night. Most of the time during the day, I get so many stories, and then I have to pick and choose which ones I'm going to talk about because it is so crazy. But when it comes to police using their force and using their power, using their leverage, and just making grave mistakes like this, we have to talk about it. We have to bring awareness to it because it is the only way that people will know. We have to know about these things to better protect ourselves, to bring awareness, so that our communities, are in the know. And this is just one of those stories that not playing devil's advocate, but I understand if you're a police officer and you think someone is armed, then of course you're going to have to protect yourself. You feel like you should protect yourself, but if you heard him or someone yelling, "It's not a gun," at least start asking questions, or there needs to be a protocol. There needs to be, something. And I'm not sure if the police officers knew who this guy was or knew that he had mental struggles, but this is just crazy. Like, something has to be done. Excuse me. Y'all know I'm always drinking water, but something has to be done. I mean, this is, if you're going to be a police officer, you're going to serve and protect. I would definitely say do something to teach these officers, because this isn't good. And this guy was only 39 years old and he has lost his life. Okay, and it's just heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. All right, we're gonna move on to the 12-year-old that was pulled over for deputies and is ripped from his bike, and then one raises a leg and does the unthinkable. An attorney for a 12-year-old boy said that his client was unnecessarily brutalized by police officers in Louisiana. Attorney Ryan K. Thompson of the Thompson Justice Institute told WTVT a video from February 19th showed deputies arresting his client in the parish of Louisiana. Okay, footage captured by the dashboard camera in the parish. The sheriff's office vehicle showed the unidentified boy pulling off the road on his dirt bike. One officer, Deputy Sheriff Anthony Dugas, could be seen tackling the boy from behind. Another officer, Deputy Joseph Francis, then ran to the scene. When he arrived on the scene, Francis raised his leg and began stomping. While the boy could not be seen due to the angle of the video, Thompson said the officer was stomping on the child. My client never resisted these large adult deputies, Thompson said, according to WTVT. Meanwhile, the parish sheriff's office told a different story. In a post on Facebook, the office said the boy was part of a group of people riding ATVs and the dirt bikes without functioning headlights, operating in reckless manner, engaging motorists on Woodland Highway. During the course of the incident, all the four-wheelers and the dirt bike created a public safety hazard by blatantly disregarding numerous traffic laws designed for commuters to travel without fear of their safety, the office wrote. So the actions committed by the operators of these vehicles included but not limited to disregarding functioning traffic signals, red lights, crossing lanes into oncoming traffic. They were just being, unruly. So the office says, allegedly, the office says two people were apprehended on February 19th, 20-year-old Jaquez Wilson and a juvenile male, apparently the 12-year-old boy. So the office says Wilson crashed into an oncoming vehicle and attempted to flee the scene before he was caught and apprehended. The 12-year-old's arrest was a separate event. Okay? The juvenile male, who was taller than most deputies that were on the scene and wearing a full face helmet, was apprehended after his dirt bike became disabled despite the attempts to continue to flee from deputies. This is what the office wrote, and he refused demands, reasonable demands, they said, reasonable demands to get off the dirt bike, which led to him physically struggling with deputies while avoiding attempts to be handcuffed. So the deputies proceeded to use necessary force to effect the arrest. The juvenile was charged with 2 felonies, 2 misdemeanors, including resisting arrest and traffic violations. Okay, the parish sheriff's office said neither the 12-year-old nor his family had complained about injuries stemming from the arrest, and it said allegations of abuse from the officers were an attempt to present edited content to inflame the public's perception of the facts of this incident. The 12-year-old's family had called for Francis to be fired, but the office said all deputies involved in the incident had been cleared, according to WTVT. Before making any judgments in the case, it is important for Americans to wait until all of the evidence is revealed in court of law. It is possible the deputies could have neutralized the threat without such force, but without all the necessary facts, it would be unfair to make this determination prematurely. The statement also says, too often, Americans make snap judgments about cases involving law enforcement before the facts of the case are fairly presented. In order for justice to be preserved, we must wait for the evidence to come out. Once that happens and each side makes its case in court, then it will be appropriate to make a determination about which parties need to be held responsible. For now, Americans should resist the urge to let their bias unfairly determine their opinions on this case. Listen, I get it. That's a cute statement and all of that, but here's my commentary on this story as well. What does your foot and leg have to do with any of this? I can't imagine, and I've never been a police officer, never wanted to be, but I can't imagine that when you're in training to be a police officer, they actually teach you to raise your leg and stomp Americans, okay, in order to do what? It's probably going to wound and hurt. You could crack some ribs, you could break some bones. Is that your aim? Is that your goal? To crack some ribs, break some bones, depending on how forcibly you stomp a human being, or as you put it, an American. You could damage someone internally, some vital organs. There could be internal bleeding. Is this your goal? I can't imagine, and I could be wrong. I could be wrong in saying that they don't teach police officers to do this when you're going through the academy, but I just can't. It just doesn't register to me. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I know you're gonna let me know in the comments, because my teacups always do. I'm not understanding where police officers are getting all of the unnecessary tactics, all of the brutality. I'm not understanding where police officers are getting chokeholds and stomping, and you're street fighting is what you're a police officer, but what you're doing is street fighting. You're stomping, you're choke holding, you're punching, you're doing all of the things that would be done in a regular street fight. Knowing that you're a police officer, and what can a person do, because you're going to have reservations even though you don't want to be caught, you don't want to be arrested. This is a 12-year-old boy. He was not trying to get away from you because you know he was a criminal. He was trying to get away from you because he's a 12-year-old boy, and he's afraid, he's scared. He could have been out there having fun with these other people, but it says that this was a separate incident. Now, that's what the article said. This is westernjournal.com. I don't know, I wasn't there. I'm just reading the article. I'm just I know what I just read. And if this was a separate incident and you saw some people out there riding their dirt bikes and causing, havoc, wreaking havoc, if or if not, the 12-year-old boy was involved, regardless of if he was taller or shorter or whatever the case may be, is it possible that you were wrong in raising your leg and taking your foot and stomping on? Because the article says you were stomping on. It did not say you stepped on him. It did not say you used your foot to hold him down. It says you were stomping on the boy. Okay? So what I'm asking is this something that you were taught to do in the police academy? And if so, there needs to be some changes made, because this is crazy. This is insane. This is, I'm just, it makes people fear for their life, that I could, get sick on the road and my car, could shake a little bit in the road or something, and then I'm scared to death, when I hear whoop whoop, I'm going to get yanked out of my car, and the police academy are going to stomp me. They're going to raise their leg and take their foot and stomp on me, because this is something that they were taught to do at the police academy. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I could be reaching, but I'm just saying, I don't ride dirt bikes. I'm in a car. But either way, because of the color of my skin, because I live in the South, and because of stories like this, yeah, I fear. I fear for my life all the time. I didn't used to, and I was born and raised in the South. I did not used to, have such fear. But man, I'm telling you now, in this day and age, yeah. You guys, it's something. It's something. I am going to put the links to these stories. Unfortunately, there is no video. They just had the snapshots from the video, from the first story. But you can see the pictures clearly, and there were no pictures or anything for the 12-year-old boy, probably because he was a minor. And so, and I wouldn't imagine that there was any footage. Nobody was taking, pictures or anything. I would have been able to find them on like Instagram or something, or one of the publications, but there were no photos or video footage of that incident. So we're gonna see if there's a follow-up. I did find a follow-up of one story, you guys. It was the monkeypox guy. You guys remember the monkeypox guy? I have to get the footage from Instagram and TikTok, but you guys are going to be so shocked when you hear about this, because it's just beyond stupid. But anyway, you guys don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This has been an episode of Quick Tea. Thank you so much. I am Twanna Y'vette for the Twanna Y'vette Show, and I will talk to you guys in another video. Bye for now.